Hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2. Thank you very much for joining me in this video that just happens to be a day late. I do apologise from the usual release day. Last time out we created a track that would connect New York up to some place past Elgin. What was the name of the other place that it connected up to? I cannot remember, but where we get our oil from for the west side of the map, or part of the west side of the map. And here you can see in front of you one of our brand new trains, as well as our New York one of our New York line trains that is going on its way to New Haven. So the track to the left will go to New Haven, the track to the right is currently headed for Clearwater, that is it. And you can see there are trains behind. So what are we going to be doing in this video? Well, in this video we are going to be doing a ride along, and we're going to be running from New York City all the way to whatever the name of our destination is, and then perhaps riding back, and if not, we'll be looking and trying to balance things up and taking a look at whether this was a profitable line. So make sure you stay tuned for what could very well be the final ride along of this series of Transport Fever. Okay, so here we are, and this is the train that we are going to be getting on board. This is carrying 6 people, and I'll slow it down nicely, 7 people, and it is going to be heading to Clearwater. But the first thing it's going to do is wait for a free path, as I have set it up to do so. So let's jump on board. Let's give ourselves a decent view, which I think that is a rather decent view here. So we should be able to, we're sort of standing on a footplate of sorts, as long as we do not look around too much. It's always this view of the camera is one that I'm not entirely keen on, I must admit, the way it does this. Anyway, we should be ready to depart any second now with our 7 passengers, and there is a train behind us. You can just see it just behind, waiting to pull into the station. That is also one of these trains. So what I've done is I've used this station as the station where it will balance things out. So leaving New York City, which is growing as the New Haven to wherever that goes. St. Paul? Does that go all the way to St. Paul? I think so. Anyway, just about to leave New York City as that train pulls in, and I'm sure there'll be another train in the opposite direction, also heading to New Haven. We are still waiting. It should not have taken quite this long. Come on. There it is. There we go. Okay, so here we go. On the run. You can see some of those cars available to us now, looking lovely, as they should, as we start accelerating for Clearwater, leaving New York behind, and we are going to pull to the left. So you can see the track that goes straight ahead, that is going to New Haven, and as we turn to the left we are going to essentially swing around New York, which is finally starting to have some tall buildings, as New York should. And as we swing around we are going to be heading over towards Clearwater, which you might just be able to see in the distance. I'm not sure if you caught a glimpse of that. I think that is Clearwater in the distance. I chose purple for this line. I'm not sure if I mentioned it last week for the actual line colour, so I thought I'd choose a bright purple for the trains as well. That is more like a violet, isn't it? Maybe slightly darker shade than a violet, but then that could be the texture of the metal and the weathering. Now the junction that we have coming into Clearwater is slightly different. We've got overs and unders, So we are going to be looking at some overs and unders. In fact, I think it's this side of the track that goes over and then under. So it will go over a rail and then go directly under another rail. So that will be interesting as we get held at another red signal. This is all part of the plan of spreading the trains out correctly. So we're just trying to ensure that the trains are spaced out as they should be. But this should only be a moment's delay, as we can see Clearwater in front of us. Just waiting for the green signal. Hopefully everybody is having a lovely Wednesday, or indeed any day that you are watching this. There we go, there's a green signal, off we go. You can see some cars on the, you can see a car anyway, on the left hand side. It's disappeared now. In fact, you might just be able to see it going out to the screen right there. And there's another car right behind it. We are now going to be climbing uphill, so it is going to be slightly slow acceleration, but of course once everything is spaced out this line, you should really not be at this speed through this section. You should be doing a lot more. You can see the freight line, or the double loco train, double header train of the freight line, which is one that we are going to go over and then under, and you can see the other side of it indeed just goes underneath. Wait, does that side go underneath? That side will not go underneath whatsoever. It avoids it completely. And you can see Clearwater right there as we climb up onto one of these new steel bridges, or steel truss bridges, cantilever beam bridges. As we go over the freight line, as the freight line goes over another line, and we go over the freight line only to duck back down or dip back down and go underneath the freight line that we just went over to join up onto one of the main lines to stop in Clearwater. So I think this is a pretty reasonable way to bring it into Clearwater, so I'm rather pleased with that. Now we have 7 passengers on board. Let's see how many of these passengers wish to go to Elgin. Abilene is the name of the other one. Yes, Abilene is the name of our destination. It actually says it right in front of me. I've just noticed at the bottom, Abilene, New York City. Never mind. 5 passengers wish to go to Elgin. That's a shame. We have some Mercedes-Benz buses. You can actually see the Mercedes logo on them. If you look closely at the one coming around the corner, you can see them. Oh, it's just... Where have you gone? But you might have just seen the Mercedes 3-pointed star. And now, unlike the route that you've seen before and been on before, we are going to swing over to the right-hand side as one of the Miami to Newport News trains comes along, calling all stations: New Orleans, Baltimore, Norwalk, Concord, Memphis, Clearwater, and terminating at New Haven. We are now going to climb to go over a road and another railway. Funnily enough, this railway is the one that we are going over. It's the same railway as the one that we just went under, which is the same railway as the one we went over before. So it's sort of up down on this, and the reason for that is because the freight railway was essentially there first, and the freight railway went over the passenger railway that was there before it. So actually the passenger railway was first, then the freight that went over it, and then this, which is going over and under depending on where exactly it needs to be. One of the trains returning. It looks like there's a lot of passengers in that train. we are going to get held at this signal, and you can see in the distance, you can see the oh no, we're not held, we just slowed down. You can actually see the, is it steel mill, tools factory? I think it's the tools factory working away in the distance, which is where that double rail goes. Double rail? 2-track railway goes. Over here we've got, I believe, a copper ore mine. And an autosave, apparently. Personally, I would not leave these beams like that. I would actually triangulate that properly or cut that end part out. But that is me. Because that end part is just unnecessary mass. There's no structural integrity on that part. So here is our, I think this is a copper ore mine. It certainly looks like copper ore. Could be coal, but no. And here is Elgin. Plans for Series 2 of Transports Fever are well underway. I think no passengers here. No, wait, there is one passenger. There's a lot wanted to go in the opposite direction, that's for sure. Oh dear. But yes, plans for Series 2 of Transports Fever are underway and almost completed. I am having the occasional issue with mods, so I'm just trying to resolve those, as well as an issue of coming up with the correct map that I want to do. So I'm trying to look for the right map to make the best of the series that I wish to make. But there is a problem that I have come across with the Common API mod, and I seem to have lost the menu for it. So I need to try and figure out what is going on there, and if I can fix that in the next couple of weeks, then I can start the next series, which is what I want to do, because that series is going to be very different from this one. This was all about learning the title, getting to play it, getting to understand what is different from Transports Fever 1, and also getting to try to work out how the costs work and things like that, and making a profit. All of that is out of the window in the next one. This is probably a view that would be appreciated. One certainly like this, because we are cutting straight through these. When I say cutting through them, there's actually a natural path between them that you can see that I'm trying to, or I did, make the railway wind around, which is nice, I think, overall. It does look rather nice, these mountains up here. It's nice to see that. It's very nice to see that, I think. But yes, the second series is going to be different from the first one. You can see a mountain out on that side too. Just there you go, you can now see it, and you can see that I'm cutting through quite naturally. It is going to be all about getting some detail in, making things grow as naturally as possible, making them grow as realistically as possible. So we're talking about how we're going to work out the freight. We're looking at how the lines are going to come together. Is it going to be one line that's created all the way, or lots and lots of small lines that eventually come together, and what trains run on those lines, how the buses run, how the roads are created as well. I did some of that in this series, but there was going to be a lot more in the next one. What I was doing in this series with that detail was just to figure out if it can be done. For example, where you saw the quarry near Baltimore. Was it the quarry near Baltimore, or was it the coal mine near Baltimore? I think it was a coal mine, sorry, near Baltimore. And I did some I did some work there, I did some detailing. So that is the kind of stuff that we're going to be looking at. And we are at our destination in Abilene already. Not so many passengers to pick up here, I'm sure. But there we go, quite a short run. But nonetheless, it is going to be a run that hopefully will turn a profit by the end of this video. So we've got 15 passengers here. Let's go take a look. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you this, didn't I? If you take a look there, there you go, the three-pointed star of the Mercedes. There you go. Looking very nice. I think I have upgraded every single one of the Macs to these Mercedes. I know it's got something written in Italian, but I heard that these were used in the Americas, in the United States of America too. This is ridiculously full, which is concerning. This is ridiculously full, which is concerning, and this is not so full, which is concerning. Interesting. So at the moment we're balancing things as they should be, but only because we've got far too much fuel being produced to be transported all the way to wherever it needs to be. So are places like, for example, Huntsville getting the fuel that it requires? There is a high chance that it is not. So the next question is, do we make even longer trains? That is a really, really big question. I mean, if we look at this train, how long is it? No, wait, it's only carrying 111 or 2. No, that's 239 meters. Could we stretch for at least for this one? Is it possible to stretch for a 300 meter train? That is going to be a stretch. Look at these two racing away. This should beat it. And indeed it is slowly catching up. You can see it, there you go. The nose is now ahead of, along the tender. The nose is now alongside the tender. It is ahead of the tender. They're both going to hit the brakes in a moment anyway. They're now almost alongside each other, or say almost alongside, and now they're both on the brakes. Both slowing down for this station, one carrying 73, one carrying 49. Almost identical in length. There's the other one going back the other way with 100. Wow. And stop. Look at that. I wonder why this one stops so much further ahead. You would think that this would actually stop slightly behind, being the way it is. And here we go. The race is on. I know which one is going to win. It's this one. Now I've seen it. But yes, going back to the more serious note, is it possible to stretch this platform to 300 meters? So this one would have to be 300, this one would have to be 300. And then I believe the train just keeps going, doesn't it? To go over to Port St. Lucie. No, it does not. It stops at Springfield presently. So it turns around here, right? It does. Okay. So we can make two 300s here, as long as we can make a 300 long platform here, which I think is possible. Let's find out. So this is a 240, so what is this? Each one's 4? 24, yes. So that's going to be 280. That was also a passenger platform. That is going to be 280, and then if we were to manage to fit one in there, it would be 320. Can we fit a 320 in? $280. Okay, let's try this. There's no time like the present to try this. So what I'm going to do is going to wait for the autosave to finish. There we go. Cut this back like so. Configure the station to have another block there. That's 320. There we go. That is now 320. Move the signal back to here. Delete that, and now put in the track that needs to be placed in. There we go. That should be logical, right? There. So now we have a 320 meter station, which is already filled up. But that is one positive. Now, how much 320 is going to help on this, I do not know. Let's give it a check though. Let's say we were to edit this vehicle. So it's currently carried 216. Let's say we were going to add cargo. So $216 to $300. 216 to 288 actually. Okay. So we're going from 216 to 288, which is substantial if you think about it, because that's 72 additional per train, and you have 3 trains, so you're looking at a, what's that? 216? 216 more all the way through? I think so. That is a lot. 216 more is a lot. I mean, that could be enough to feed all of Reno, for example. So 216 is going to be a lot. I just need to figure out how I'm going to do it on something like this, for example, where the track, you can clearly see where the track is going. So we're going to have to adjust the track as we go through this too. Let's expand upon this station. And unfortunately it has to... that's a problem. That is a problem, because we cannot expand on... Technically we can expand on this side, can't we? We can just do that. It doesn't really matter if it's not exactly there. And then we place the tracks in like that. And now we deal with the other issue of getting the tracks hooked up to that, which actually is turning out to not be as big a problem as I... What on earth? Too much curvature. That's because you did something absolutely... Have you seen what it's doing here? This is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen it do. There we go. And I will pop a signal on right here. So now we have a 300 meter station there, and it is just a matter of this station. This station, however, I am fairly sure I can handle 300 meters. I could place one on this side, And on this side, it's a bad idea because we have the crossover there. Unless I were to bring the crossover further back. But I was actually thinking there is another option for us. Is a track there? No. Yeah, sure. No. I want to place another one here. So the way I'm going to do that is by knocking this out and that out. This might be slightly dangerous. It's only slightly, I feel. So the risk is going to be worth it. I'll do that, and then I think I can manage this if I work on it really, really hard. If I do this, there we go. It's a little bit slow. It's not quite as smooth a corner as I would have wanted, but it will do the trick. Now, what I'm concerned about is once again this one doing a rather silly. This is a really silly pattern here. For some reason, the game is adamant that it does this, despite the fact that it's wholly ridiculous. So the one thing that I've got to do is pop that back in and tell whatever this line is, West Tools, that after Springfield, go through there. That's wrong. McAllen. After Port St. Lucie. Wait, what? It's on its way back. Oh, it's on its way back. That's why. Go through there. There we go. So now that is on a much better run, which is exactly what we need. Now, I should really also put a signal here. Might help traffic woes a little. If I were to place some signals here. As you can see, though the series is ending, I am not... Oh, there's already a signal there, but if I push a signal further forward, no harm done, right? Remove the old signal, and there we go. Okay, so that is a much longer platforms for this particular type of train. So manage vehicle, 1, 2, 3, not clone, edit, and on each vehicle we are going to add, and just to differentiate so we know that it is one of the new ones, just a slightly darker one, 1, 2, 3, in fact all the way up to 310. I think 310 is reasonable. Unless we can just about fit 322 in. And the 2 meters longer than the station. You know what? I'm going to risk it, and if it causes problems, then everybody in the comments who's currently saying this is a silly thing to do can say that you told me so. So there we go. We now have an even longer train. Now that is starting to look like the lengths of freight trains I expect, at least in the UK. The train just keeps going for quite some time. And you can see compared to the passenger trains, that is rather long. I think in the UK we can have trains 600-700 meters. This has how many carriages? 1, 2 carriages, wagons. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I've counted trains in the UK that have double the double the length of wagons. So certainly this is not a long freight train, at least for modern times, but it's certainly fairly long in the scope of transport's fever. So let's see if that actually helps in any which way, because we should have a train on its way in somewhere. Or is it already here? Oh, I think it was already here and it's gone. No. Why is this doing what it's doing? Here it is, it's on its way in. 300 fuels. 300 quantity of fuel. 326 is what is on the platform. No, 334. Looks like it's trying to do something here. And unfortunately, what would be nice is to say that if the platform is full, stop producing more. That would have been awesome, but it doesn't do that, because then you'd say, well, yes, it's inefficient, but we're not going to lose all of it. I think this is going to be the thumbnail for the episode. I know it started off as a ride along, but I think this is the thumbnail that I would much rather prefer, of a 300-meter long train. There we go. Perfect. That is quite a long train, I must admit. But nevertheless, oh, achievement earned. Have a train filled with at least 250 cargo items. Well, there we go, we've done that. Achievement unlocked. I think I managed to get another achievement just after the last video that I made as well. Something about 400 kilometers of track already has 150 fuel. Now that is good, but also not so good, because this train is still not out of here, and I need this train to be gone. What is your problem? Oh dear, hang on a second. What has happened here? And why is that clever in any way, shape or form? I fail to understand why you've done that. I know exactly why you've done that. Go. There we go. That was my fault. So now we should be getting a lot more fuel here, a lot more fuel to Springfield, and it's going to... I do wonder if we're going to be able to get the fuel over to Reno. There is a possibility of a yes, but there is also a possibility of a no on that. These trains all seem to be doing fairly well. Everything here seems to be going well. It was the coal mine I was talking about earlier. So, you know, this sort of detailing, which didn't take long, it only took a few minutes. So, yeah, being able to do that and saying, well, as you drive past, you're going to see something like this, and you know, with the extra rocks and some shrubbery, and it just looks like this blends in. Not perfectly, I will admit, it is not perfect, but if you just look at it like that, aside from that hard corner there, certainly from this side, you would not be able to very easily tell that this is not all part of one setup. And that is the point. That is what I'm trying to do. Probably have gone for 300 meter platforms here as well. Although, if I remember correctly, things have been running out. Okay, people of Huntsville, how are you doing? You have 96 of 271, which is alright. But you need more. You must have more. And you shall get more. Eventually. Is this the train that's carrying everything? It is the train carrying the 300. Into the valley road, the 300. Is there another train nearby? Yes, there is. How much are you carrying? 300. Which means that by the time the other train gets here, there will be 300 waiting for it. So we've managed to up from 216 to 300 now. So that is an increase of 84 on all three trains. So in total, that is an increase of 252. I think an increase of 252. Look at this overtake about to happen. Look at that overtake. We just missed it, but that's okay. How far are you? How far do you have to go? They're doing 50. Now this is nice because they're doing 50 and these trains are doing 60, which is nice to see. That is how it should be. The freight trains always tend to be slower. Although not massively slower. There are trains that, for example, cannot do that kind of figure. We have a lot of steel stored here, but not a lot of wood. Why are we struggling on the amount of wood? I'm a little confused about that. We should have more than enough, unless something's gone very wrong somewhere. No, it's 150. Maybe that's... I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We're going to have to figure something out there. Let's see if we can catch that train entering Springfield. And how much did it actually take over to here? 40. 39. What does it have left here? 162. That's going to overload that, isn't it? Oh, it does not overload it. Okay. That is good. Good news. Very good news. Now the question is, can it turn around? Just. It can turn around just. Okay. Well, that was important to know, that it can at least do the turnaround. And it can just clear the crossing as well. Oh, that's another... That was something I did not take into account. I need to move this forward just a little. There you go. Move that forward just a tad so that it can clear the crossing properly. I did not take that into account. You might have seen that the back of the train was just slightly on this, so it wasn't quite off the point. But anyway, with that, I'm going to... here we go. That's good. That is really good. But with that, I'm going to end this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Transports Fever, both for Series 1 and Series 2. Leave a comment in the comments box below, letting me know what you think. Please do not forget to support me on Patreon if you can do so at www.patreon.com/ECGadgets. Your support would be massively appreciated. It would really help me out. And also, you can find me on social media at ECGadgetsLP for both Twitter and Instagram. Springfield now has over 100 residents, but only 96 of its 103 of its fuel supply. That's 107 of its fuel supply. That is interesting. But anyway, as I said, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time in Transport Fever 2.